Hello, hello, hello. Good day, amazing people. My name is Cheryl Sutherland, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to Navigating Mindfulness. Yes, yes, yes. We are building businesses as we are doing our personal growth work, doing all the inner work so that we can have the outer results that we desire. I'm not sure if I said my name already because I haven't drank enough coffee. So, hi, my name is Cheryl Sutherland, and I'm here with my delicious co host, the one and only Liza Magcale. And we are both amazing entrepreneurs. We are just doing the thing, man. I think it's the most important thing is like the day-to-day work. We're just out here living life and attempting to be good people as we do it. So
Right?
it's those little moments in the day-to-day that we're like, hey, is this working? Is this not working? And adjusting. So titles aside, like we're just two amazing badass people. This is the
Thanks.
best title. Hey.
Love it. Love it.
So if we have like a graphic, it'd be like today's episode, and it'll zoom in and out. We actually were talking a little bit about relationships. So we do have a little conversation. We hang out right before we start to record. And today it was relationships and how we're doing with that. And then also how we navigate our relationships and our obstacles in relationships really play into the same exact obstacles that we have with our businesses, with our business growth, and then just like using that same process that we use to make sure that we can navigate through those relationships that we're using also for our business. And also, if you notice that there's some people that are really, really great when it comes to business, it gives a very clear context of we can also use those things and those tools and those practices that we use to get like, be like multimillionaires and apply that to our personal lives. So for the multimillionaires listening, call me. And I have a goal. Okay, y'all heard the goal. So call me. I've been watching way too much Girlfriends, so I'm channeling my Tony Childs, and then we'll figure out your personal life, and I'll support you with the financial stuff too, and your business stuff too. Anyway, so let's get into it, shall we?
Yes, 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 yes.
Do you like
I
my little
really,
personal ad at the beginning? Like, hey.
well,
uh,
you have put it out there, and I'm really, really glad that we're doing this today with you putting it out there because when we started, you were taking some big action steps towards making that goal happen. So let's talk about what you've been doing and I love what you said, by the way, about like the daily practice. For me, it's like moment to moment. That's how
it is. It is.
quickly things
It
can
is.
shift, right? I can get a phone call, a text or whatever, and all of a sudden my mindset shifts or I get a thought about like, and I'm gone the other direction.
It is.
So for me, moment to moment, not even day to day. So, but let's get back to your goal and the topic of today, relationships. What action steps did you take personally? And I always want to know how it relates back to business. So, and vice
Okay,
versa.
so let's talk about our relationships. So the ones that we're particularly poking today are those on the romantic side. No, we're not talking about relationships with your friends or your family. We're talking about that twin flame, that like lover, that person that you're looking to attract to like spend more time with and also like possibly make people with, or raise people with. So actually, the biggest action step that I did, there's been two main ones. So a couple episodes ago, it feels like many, many moons. I had put out there and decided that I wanted to be in a successful, delicious relationship that was happy and healthy and that was really supportive. And so with that, I had this wonderful surge of like potential bachelors that just
Swelled up.
I don't want to say magically that like the universe was like here on all of my dating profiles, and I was like, okay, cool, this is working. And then it was just like, this isn't it yet. So I actually deleted all of my dating profiles, not just paused them. I actually deleted all of them because I'm like, this is the common denominator in all of these things is me. And obviously, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you're still you. So I was actually getting a lot of anxiety and feeling like I was putting too much energy out, like going through and like having to manage, like, if I'm on Bumble, it's like, if I don't match with somebody in 24 hours, then they're gone. Like, it's just too, it ended up being more stressful. So I deleted all of my profiles. And then I started rereading Calling in the One. And then, so if you haven't heard of it, it's by Catherine Woodward Bates, and she is actually the one that has also done the conscious uncoupling. So the one that what's her name, Gwyneth Paltrow and homeboy from Coldplay was going through when they decided to just dissolve their marriage. And then just like going through, it's a week by week setup. It's like 7 weeks, and every week there's like a plethora of like exercises and course. It's basically like a coursework, and they advise like you could do it with like a couple of friends or a group of people, et cetera, et cetera. So I've started reading this book before, and then but this was the first time, and I just finished it last night. So this is the first time I actually finished it, and it was really very interesting, because normally when I do a lot of personal growth, like reading and stuff like that, I'm like, I can change this way, or insight here. However, for me, a bunch of this stuff was really like, I kind of felt conflicted on, because I'm like, should I not feel like I need to fix myself with this, or like I wasn't really, like, I was feeling very much like a lot of content with things, and I was like, is this my ego, or is this actually like I'm good when it came to this? Like, I don't really have this issue. I don't have a codependence thing. Like, all of these different things. I'm like, like kind of looking at it like, is this a problem? Like, do I need to look at that? And then so it was a very clear inclination for me that, or indication for me that I'm actually like in a really good place, or that like I'm not as screwed up as I thought I was sometimes. And
I
then I
gotta
know.
jump in. I gotta jump in. Like, you're talking about all things that people think about when they're essentially questioning themselves or doing an analysis of themselves,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like doubting yourself, whether it's your personal relationship. And I know we weren't talking about anything else. I think it happens even in business, where
Yeah.
you question whether or not you actually are clear that you have what it takes and the
Yeah.
worthiness of it, right?
Look at
So,
that.
right,
Good job.
I
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love that. However, back to your goal of a relationship, a
Yeah. So
personal relationship.
a personal, delicious,
Delicious. See?
romantic,
Delicious.
juicy,
Healthy.
umptuous,
Right.
unctuous
Yes.
relationship. So then,
Yes.
when I finally got to the end of the book, the last couple things were like, yeah, okay, yeah, this feels like it's something for me. Like the lessons felt really tangible. Like, yes, this is something I could do, or yes, this is something I want to do that is going to make a difference. And it was really actually that the list process of really creating a new list,
Hmm.
that list of, but however, only having that list of like 10, and then whittling it down to 5. And then also, it was the energy around that list. And this time, the energy was, I can have these things. Not the saying, I
Beautiful.
want them, like asking Santa, like, hey, yeah, I want these things. Like, can you give it to me, please? It was like, I can have these things, and understanding that I was worthy of having those things. And when it came down to it, and like calling it in and really feeling that I had that, or that I could receive that, it was also supportive for me, because it created evidence that I was, in fact, one of the exercises is asks you to be, if you're asking for somebody smart, then you have the opportunity to like give more information to other people. If you're asking for somebody to be loving, you have the opportunity to give more love and be more loving to other people. And like the things that I had, I was like, I am innately this person, and I am giving this energy out. So really, this is where you're at. Like, you're drawing him in, and it's gonna be delicious, and I'm actually worthy of, I'm deserving of, like, I could feel the quantifiable shift of like, I can actually have this. And
Right.
it felt really good. So when it comes down to business and relating that to business, because obviously 2 and 2, um, it really comes down to we all write out business plans. My first business plan for PleaseNotes, it was very clear that I was going to be a multimillionaire off of sticky notes. Now looking back, I was like, sticky notes, girl, could happen. Let's be honest. However, I was just like, that wasn't what I really needed to do. Yeah, sticky notes. That's not exactly what I needed to do. And it was like, it was more about the evolution of the product and the product line, et cetera, et cetera. Could I have made $1 million off of sticky notes? Of course I could. But did I believe I could at that time? Perhaps I did not. Did I believe, did I have resistance against it? Obviously, because I did not receive that goal, right? And it's the things that we don't have resistance to, or the things that we want, and we lower our resistance to having it, then it's able to come into our existence, and it's able to come into our, I guess, our life and our reality. So when it comes to business, what are the things that you have resistance to? So for me, one of the things that I had resistance to was being able to not have to be the one to do all the work. And so myself and Liza were talking about this earlier, where it started off with like, I don't think I have the ability to do everything. And then it was like, okay, well, what is a good option? Okay, let's get some interns, making sure that there's appropriate value exchange, whether it be like money or like credits and stuff like that. And then also being able to have the amount of work that they need to learn something, right? So they feel like, hey, I actually walked away with tangible tools that I could use in the workforce. That was always super important for me. So I got to the point where I'm like, yes, I believe that I can do that. And therefore, I attracted in amazing interns that was able to support me, that was able to teach, and that they felt really good at the end of it. I felt really good at the end of it. It was an amazing experience for me. However, at the end of that, I was very clear that I still needed support. However, I needed support from people that knew what they were doing, that I wasn't teaching, that they had particular insights, that these were within their zone of geniuses, and that like they can just like, oh, this is your idea, this is what I think would be great, like let's do it. And I'm like, right. So the blockage that I had for that was, I don't know if I can afford to pay somebody. And I also felt like I didn't like I attempt to be very responsible in my relationships, especially when it comes to business, because I'm like, I hate when people are like, yeah, come do the work, da, 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 like work for me. And they're like, oh yeah, it's just going to be a couple more weeks and then I'll pay you. Da, da, da. Like, that's not cool. So if I was going to do something, I'm like, I'm going to, sign the check that my ass can cash, you know what I mean? So when it came to getting, a support person, I was like, what is it that I want? And I'm like, yeah, I want somebody that I can get for a chunk of time. They know what they're doing with this and da da da. And that I feel like I can pay them. And that if for some reason something happens and I just need to be like, yeah, we need to take a month off, that that's the way our business relationship is. And I was able to do that not only with a bookkeeper, I was also able to do that with a VA that supported me in building out my funnels so that I can actually sell more of my digital products and make more money, so I can bring on more people to support me and bump up their hours. So it's a win, win, win,
Win,
win.
win.
But you have to have those conversations around like, what are these please what are these places that you have resistance to growing your business, and why are you not allowing it to come into fruition? Really taking the time to go into that. So Liza,
Yes. I didn't
within
want to interrupt you because it was
yeah,
just so
there's
powerful. No,
oh
I mean, it was really powerful. I love that, as again, successful business people, the balance, or, when we talk about the peace of mind square, is like, where does the relationship fall if we're overly charged or pumped up on one area? So you were going to ask a question.
yeah, I was going to ask a question. I was going to ask, what was something that you recently felt that was on the edge of your box? So of course we operate within a box,
Mhm,
within like where we live, our thought processes, et cetera, and
mhm.
all the things that we don't have that we want to achieve are outside of our box.
Right.
Everybody has a box, like Oprah has a box, hers just has like avocado trees and like a bigger house in it, right? However, there's always room for growth. So
Mhm,
for you within your business,
mhm,
what has been a side of your box that you've recently decided to stretch into, and or
mhm.
something that you're actually working up against that you're looking to achieve, like looking to grow through?
A great question, and thank you for giving me that space to talk about it, because we've had a really stellar year in calling in really great people. Really, we have, like, we've always had a really good team. This team is truly extraordinary and exceptional. Um, and when you were speaking about calling in the one, and how you correlated it to resistance, I think I had a lot of the same things. I actually was taking notes while you were talking. So um, I love that whole understanding of my worthiness. Like, ever since I was 12, I had a very clear vision of what my life was going to look like. And it didn't even include a personal relationship,
Mm,
right? So that in itself is very telling, that I would just, have an abundance of love, not that one component. I think definitely that has stuff to do with my parents and whatever. I'm working through that. So the worthiness of it is really, just to align that is really important. And um, I think also the resistance part. I mean, I resist being on my phone all the time, just because I think it's not healthy to be attached to technology all the time, right? I think sitting also is not healthy. So there's a lot of things that I currently resist that are preventing me from being at the next level, right? And so um, I think a lot of it is really the inner work that you're doing in your personal stuff, that I'm also doing in a different way, uh, in a different box.
mhm,
And so I would say it is going to be the emotional side of it and my relationship with myself. And the results are being shown outside of myself, because, like you, our tagline is, quality you need, service you can trust. That is foundational. However, you know, the fun culture and, learning and walking away and having an even better life, starting with that belief. I think 2020 and being in an inward
mm,
mode
mhm.
has really forced me to look at myself and what it is that I personally need to do. And you've summarized it so beautifully. It's like the worthiness factor, and what am I resisting to get that? And at the core of it, what you said was even better, right? Like the communication.
Mm,
You have to communicate what it is that you want. So you have to be aware of it. Like, we talk about this all the time: awareness, labeling, experiencing, and then letting it go. There's a ton of stuff in there. And if you're not willing to look at what you're resisting, then you can't label it, you can't experience it, and you can't let it go.
yeah.
Um,
So for you,
mhm.
what is the thing that that you're coming up against, either in your business or in your relationship?
Ooh. Um, I'm gonna say, like, maybe being 100% honest about where I'm really coming from.
In regards to
Um, so professionally and personally, it's like, I know this is what I want, but this is where I am. But in my mind, I'm already where I want to be. So I'm not really doing the list that you do. I've really strayed away from the list. So, not
Lisa,
plugging. Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
do I have your permission to poke you on this?
This is her word of the day. Yes, do your thing, girl. Today is your day.
I mean, it's not the 27th, but it's almost, right? Okay. So this is my second time asking. Well, now it's the third time asking you what, like something specific
Yes.
that you are personally working on that you have some resistance to.
Why do I feel like I've answered this already? But
No,
okay.
you haven't. You're like, yeah, so there's some stuff in my personal life and like, yeah,
Okay.
like being on my phone and sitting all day. And I'm like, what? So,
Yes, I totally resist it. I
okay.
totally resist that. Go ahead, Cheryl. Poke away.
So so in regards to like your business growth or your relationship growth,
Yeah.
what is the thing that you're resisting?
Mm. I'm looking at you because I feel like I've answered it when I say the worthiness factor and communicating, but you're like, no. So I
No,
don't
but
know.
like worthiness to what? To not having what?
So as I mentioned, it's like when I was 12 and I think of like what I wanted to accomplish in my life and how
Yeah.
I wanted it to be, I think one of the things is I didn't picture having a partner.
So basically, what you're telling me is that you don't feel like you're worthy to have a partner or to be in a
I don't
relationship?
know I don't know if it's necessarily the worthiness, but I didn't even think about putting it on the list.
Right.
Right. And so now I have a list, like people like you poking me for the last however many years of my singlehoodism. Um, I have a list and I actually love my list. It's really more about the feeling and the whatever. And yet there's still this disconnect. So in business, I feel like it's the same thing. I have this list, right? And there's still a disconnect. I know I'm not answering the question the way you want. I could see it on your face, but I don't know how to answer your
Yeah,
question.
I'm just looking for what specific thing. Is it like you don't know if you want to be in a relationship? You don't know if you want to be in like a serious relationship, or in your relationship right now, like are you just not wanting to commit? Or like I just wanted it to be something tangible. So it's like, well, why is that? Right. So let's say, for example, in your business, if you're
Mhm.
like, you know what, everything's always been word of mouth and I have a resistance to advertising. Right. So like, why do you have a resistance for advertising? Well, because of X, Y, and Z. So like with the
All I
next
can do,
girl,
okay, thank you
yeah,
for giving me framework. So yes, I do have a resistance to marketing and advertising.
I
We
feel
have
like I just
been,
gave you a cop out, but that's
you
fine.
did, no, I mean, and I'll give you another one now that I
No,
understand
no,
what
no, no,
you're,
no, no, no.
no,
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
no, because you know this already. Even the fact that we're doing navigating mindfulness and we're doing it on this platform, it has been arduous to get here. I think people who have seen eLiaise grow
Yeah,
from 17 years ago,
yeah.
at year 12, they were like, what are you doing? You're normally ahead of the curve. And I think just being out there and being vulnerable, I didn't associate at a core level. Um, Being vulnerable would also is a pathway to getting what you want,
Mm,
right? Because this is extremely vulnerable. I talk about myself and, whatever. Yeah, that's a big one. So also, I think to your point, when you were talking about money, the school of thought that I've come from is it was always like we never really spent a lot of money on traditional advertising,
mm,
right? So when I hear you talk about ClickFunnels, I'm like, I have known about ClickFunnels forever, and we don't do them. So I think it's definitely stepping outside of like the traditional box that I learned business in and just following my gut. How's
mhm.
that?
Okay, so then why is this a problem for you?
Because it's actually stopping me from getting what I want. Right.
Mhm,
So it's like, yes, the business earns whatever it earns. However, to get to that next level, like it's good for right now. And my motivation, as you guys know, I'm a single parent, is like my daughter really wants to have these things and I want to provide them for her.
mhm,
And also, uh, I will be, again, this concept of retiring eludes me sometimes. However, my understanding is according to some type of thing, I should really have way more money banked. Um, so it's just sort of that whole gap, not the scarcity factor. But yeah,
yeah,
I would
yeah.
say for sure.
So would it be, I feel like I don't want to give you that answer. I feel like that would be a projection of myself. So in regards to having a resistance to doing advertising,
Hmm.
what do you, other than like it sounds like it's like just something that you've never done before.
Hmm.
So why have you not felt like you, like why have you not wanted to do it? Like what's the reason that you haven't done it yet? Other than like again, you've never done it before, but
Yeah, I think also the money, like it was never really a solid line item. Like there's this unknown factor that if we're not sure, like I think that's if you don't know if it's going to work or not, or to put it in there. And our business model also for the last however many years,
mhm,
um, was really built on referrals,
yeah,
right?
for
So like
sure.
you said, haven't done it. There was never really like an item, like a plan that we used to like we didn't have a marketing plan per
Mm,
se,
mhm,
right? And then an advertising budget. Like we would
mhm,
always do thank yous and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And also there's a lot of great ideas. And I think as a solopreneur in the early days, we had a lot of things like affiliate programs. There were other ways that we were generating enough business. But as our team grows, like you, it's like you want to make sure you have enough work for everybody.
Yeah.
So I am stepping outside of that box. So,
Yeah.
and this is part of that process. So thank you. Thanks for poking a little bit.
So are you going to be doing any advertising?
So we are, we are going to be doing some stuff. And they're
You
putting the
sound so
assets together.
excited.
You know what, I'm not, because part of it is I actually have to do live videos.
Mm.
1 to 3 minutes, which, you'd think I'd have no problem doing it. Oh, the resistance, like I'm even getting hot.
Girl.
I'm already hot thinking about it, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah. However, I mean, I do want to share good information. And I think that's what sort of like pulls me from here to there is the desire. The desire is greater than the fear. And I think
Yeah.
historically, the fear of the unknown, the unknowingness of the unworthiness, the unknowingness of the resistance, um, it's that desire. So to add to the juiciness, I know she's alluding to like personal stuff.
I wasn't going to, but I
No,
mean,
okay,
shit, if we're
all
going
right.
there, damn.
No, I'm gonna
No, let's
say,
do it. Let's do
I'm
it.
gonna say, I think when we started, we did talk about it. Like I was in something relatively fresh, but it's been, I'd say, a couple months now. And what I will say is the same thing, like the unworthiness of like I just discovered on our recording today that here we are. I actually did not have a relationship on my vision when I was 12. What is that about? So that's where I am with the relationship stuff. Like clearly all the things she listed, non-committed, I'm not really sure. I have this king list that I have, but I haven't even done like I don't even want to look at the comparison. I'm quite
Mhm.
happy with where things are at.
Mhm.
Right. So again, I think if we're not constantly connected to what it is that we want and it doesn't line up with how we're feeling, that might be an indicator of like intuition trying to tell you something.
Girl, and I love this. And one thing that you said that I feel like was super important when it came down to doing your marketing is you were saying that your what is it, desire and belief, it was like your desire to succeed was overriding your fears. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
was. And
It's
that's the biggest thing. And actually Abraham Hicks talks about,
mm-hmm.
what you believe and your desires, right? And it's even in the law of attraction, the
And Think and Grow
Think
Rich.
and Grow Rich,
Mm-hmm.
where he talks about a burning desire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I first read Think and Grow Rich, I was like, girl, I don't have no burning desire. Like, I instantly thought of an STD. Not gonna lie. Okay. I'm like,
My
I'm all like, I'm just kind of like chill with everything. Like, I
goodness.
don't have a burning desire. It's just like, what is this thing? And I'm like, "Ugh," right? However, when it comes down to a burning desire, it just really, how do I say this? Abraham Hicks talks about sometimes your beliefs create your reality, right? However, you have the ability to supersede your beliefs if your beliefs are negative, if your beliefs are holding you back, if your beliefs have that level of resistance, if
Mhm.
your desire is strong enough. Now, of
Yes.
course, Abraham Hicks also talks about the fact that we have like an inner being, or like, like we're all connected to source, all that sort
Mhm.
of stuff. On a
Right.
scale of 1 to woo, we're going to woo woo town. So come on in. Anyway, so with that your inner being also has a point of attraction, and when you
Yeah.
say that you want something, they are also like, okay, cool, and they're receiving it for you. So not only does your fears not really mean that much, your current beliefs that don't serve you don't actually mean that much. What matters is your desire. What matters is your intent. What matters is the fact that this is all available for us, and we have the opportunity to practice letting it in. And so therefore, the more we practice letting things be natural, being in that space of abundance, being in that space of having the thing, then we can receive the thing. I actually just, like, I don't know about Facebook ads. They're targeting me like nobody's business. But this person actually printed out a blank check and wrote, that she wanted $30,000. And she's like, what if I did an experiment where I was just so clear for the 30 days that this is what I'm having. I'm having this 300,000 or $30,000. $30,000 is coming. no idea where this is coming from. I desire it. It's going to be here. I love this. I'm so grateful for this. Like, thank you for this. And every day it was like, thank you for this. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Like, I'm going to do so many fun things with this $30,000. Like, I'm so excited to like handle my debt and like pay for this and like maybe go on a trip. And this was like obviously pre-Rona. And she received like $33,000 before the end of the month. So I feel like that is the delicious opportunities that we have. The more we practice the beliefs that we want, the more we practice having the things that we want and not get caught up in like, oh, in my childhood, I used to feel unworthy because something happened with this and this. Like, that's great ish, like it supported you in growing in a way. However, the reason a lot of these negative thought processes keep getting renewed, like what happened to you when you were 5, if you didn't keep rebelieving that when something happened at 12, when something had happened at 15, when something happened when you were
Yeah.
18, that belief would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we keep refueling these beliefs, and that's why they keep moving forward with us. However, if we took the time to say, like, what is this belief that we have? Oh, I'm unworthy. Well, why are you unworthy?
Right. Where does it come from?
Well, like, like, tell me about that. Well, like, I believe that this, like, I don't deserve to have the love I want. Why? Because, like, I don't feel attractive. Why? Well, I don't feel attractive because I'm not able to fit into the clothes that I want. Well, like, why are you allowing your clothes to make you feel attractive or unattractive? Well, I feel like the person I want wouldn't want me this way. Why? Like, what is this piece of evidence that you are basing this negative belief off of?
Yes.
Discover that. I love doing this process. It's like the 3 whys, like going down
Yeah.
those different levels. And then somebody also said, and then of course, Monica, a guest that we had previously, had talked about the, is it true?
Is it true?
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true? And often we will find that the belief that we have made up is not true at all.
Yeah.
And therefore, it dismantles that belief system, allowing us to create the space to implant a new one, practice it, make it strong, and allow in the things we want.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. I do the 5 why dig also. And then I did start using Monica's Is It True?
Isn't it great?
It is
I
great.
love Monica. She's the
I
best.
love Monica too. I hope we get
Good.
to see her again.
We're best friends. I mean, like, you can see her again. I'm sure, like, she obviously is amazing. You
Yeah.
should just like be friends with her on Facebook. She's hashtag amazing.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. That is evidence of my resistance to technology. I'm like, I just on Facebook, one more thing. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's like
Or
a
like, what
resistance.
way do you feel like would be a good way for you to connect with her?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want her number?
Yes.
Like,
This is what the universe looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you want?
No. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I love it. I love
We are
it.
gonna get there.
Yeah.
We're gonna
All
get
right. Well, I want to recap
there.
because we've done a lot, and you've really given our audience a lot to think about. I want to thank you. It was so juicy. Like,
Gosh, yeah.
while also you're speaking to your own goal while helping others. I think it's such a magical place where, again, do you want to declare a goal?
Why are you reading my mind? I was literally like, I feel like I should state an intention or something that I want before I leave. So I feel like
Because she poked me.
I know. No. And I'm grateful for it because, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And everybody listening or watching is gonna it gives them the space to do the same and ask people that they trust, people that they respect to do the same for them.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like the thing that I want to create that like is coming up next for me is actually spending less time doing product-based stuff like for PleaseNotes and really start stretching into doing more of the Cheryl Sutherland brand stuff. So that looks like, taking the time to record all of my sessions, all of my workshops, and having them available for sale on demand. That looks like to me building out that sales funnel and then creating in the digital items that I want. Like, I got this course. It's called the Low Ticket Funnel Planner, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And then I watched it and I got so overwhelmed because all that came up was, I'm not enough. I can't do this. I can't handle this. And like the first bundle that she had, it was like, yeah, you're going to offer so much insane value for $39. It's like 800 and something dollar value. I was like, I don't have that much digital stuff that would work for this. Like, should I even do this? And then at the end of the video, she's like, yeah, you want to have a good size email bundle or email list. I'm like, okay, well, in my head, like, what's a good size? She's like, yeah, about like 15,000 people. I'm like, 15,000 people. I'm like, wow. So I just wasted how much of my time and how much of my money watching this, and I can't even do any of this. And instead of just being in that space of defeat, just like, okay, well, what is the next step? Choosing not to be overwhelmed. So that's my big thing, is just how many digital products can I make and bundle and automate and start selling those things, because I'm so ready. And also, even when it comes to doing the stuff for Kickstarter stuff, putting it all in a bundle. Like, do you want, like, I have this ebook that I wrote years ago. So you want to start a Kickstarter, and it really breaks down the beginning portions of what you need to know and have in regards to like your idea, your product, like your target market, all that sort of stuff first before you even start looking at all this other stuff. And then the program that I want to do, honestly, Lisa, it's so nice. It covers like an RFQ process. It covers like your branding, like a little bit of branding. It covers like all the different pieces and parts in the 4 different things that you need to do on the 4 different sections of creating like a crowdfunding campaign. You know, your budgeting, your pledge levels, what you want to have in your video, all of that. And instead of doing one-on-one consulting for it, I just want to put it all together and be like, Merry Christmas. There you go. Pick the pieces that work for you, and have that there, so I can support more people in like starting to launch their businesses and starting to follow their dreams. And then I think most importantly, allowing the knowledge that's within them to support others in what they want to do,
Yeah.
right? Because like if I came out with like a new product, it's yes, it is for me, but it's also for the people that are out there looking for this product, that, you know, they need these things. So that's my thing that I'm leaning into. Feeling a little sick about it, and I'm loving the fact that I am, because that means I'm coming up against that box.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because you're speaking into like why I called for a meeting for tomorrow.
That's true.
So I love your goal because it kind of hits mine too. However, I'm going to push on you a little bit if I may.
Yeah.
What is the personal goal?
What personal goal?
You're talking professional, what you're going to do, but what are you doing on the personal side?
I don't know. I don't have a personal goal. Fine, whatever. Personal goal.
What are you going to do? I
You
mean,
see the side eye that I'm giving you,
I
Lisa?
know you are. However, you said I could. This is the reverse poke, and it's not even like a bad poke. It's just like holding you capable of taking an action step of some sort towards your goal of. I mean, girl, you can tell me you're going to meditate and do a relationship meditation for all I care, but it's like you've finished the book. What are you going to do now?
I think, I don't know, actually. And like, I'm just gonna do, if for anybody that knows reference, it's the shocked Pikachu face. Okay, she just played the reverse Uno card on me. So in
Lovingly.
regards to relationships, I think what I'm gonna do is the face.
No, I'm just like,
No, for me, I'm like, what I'm gonna do, I feel like I'm almost ready to get back on some of these sites, and I'm only gonna get back on one. And the one that I felt like I had the most results, or that I really enjoyed the experience the most,
there we go.
um was the Facebook dating. And it was like there was like a new crop of people that I'd never seen before. Um some people that I had really great conversations with. And then I think most importantly for me, it let me put in like the height thing, because I'm like, there was just, again, and me being tall, like it's just like, this is what I want.
Let's
I
put it
want a
out
tall
there.
person.
Let's put it out there.
So it was easier for me to just be like, yeah, this is the height range, and that's it. While most of the other dating sites, you have to pay for that in order to have that as an option. So Facebook dating.
Okay. Excited.
Great. I'm glad you're excited.
I don't know. You might want to align that energy somewhere. I'm like, We were just talking about that.
So by
That's how I
when?
feel.
By when? Before the end of
Next week.
next week. Jesus. I was gonna say 2 weeks, but next week. Fine. Like, put my ass to the fire. Let me write this down.
It's American Thanksgiving. People are going to be like online. We're rolling into Christmas.
I mean, American Thanksgiving, girl. Like, we in Canada. What's the problem? Like, I don't really want to do that. What?
I know we're in Canada, but there's like people who might be off today. I'm just joking. Just next
Lisa's
week.
been
Next
drinking
week.
before
No,
we
next
started this
week.
podcast.
Next week, because I actually am going to be starting to do my lives also next week. So it's like, join me in the uncomfortableness, sister. That was like tired and side eye. That was not just side eye on its own.
Yeah.
That was a new one.
Jesus. Okay, so Facebook dating. I'm trying to write this down. Stop breaking my concentration. What was the other thing I was doing? Yeah.
Digital
So
program.
yeah. Okay, so digital program. I'm gonna do the clarity one first, and then start working on the RFQ one. So clarity one.
You started with your ebook as a resource also.
Yeah. So the thing is with the ebook, and so I'm gonna do that's gonna be set up as a lead magnet, so it's gonna be free.
Yeah.
And then I'm also gonna do I want to do a quiz as a lead magnet.
Yeah. I like those.
I like quizzes. Like,
Yeah.
And so the first course, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to call it, because it's really around clarity in your career. However, the thing that I've noticed is when I say career, people think a 9 to 5 versus you're like, if you're an entrepreneur. So it was like clarity in your calling, or like
Okay.
catalyze your clarity with your calling, or like something like with that. I like alliteration a lot. So like catalyze your career clarity, something like that. I don't know. So I'm still figuring out a name.
Yeah.
Lisa, help me out. If anybody listening, help me.
Yeah. I'm excited for you though, because I think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from the information that you have to share.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I know there is. I just need to figure out how to put it together and get it out
You
there.
have your course, so just follow the course. I think even between the ebook and all the things that you're doing, you've got a program ready to go. And the reason that I booked time with her is, aside from all of this deliciousness and the authenticity and whatever, when she puts her work hat on, we create some pretty awesome things. So,
it's right here on top
I
of
do
my
45 minutes and I have my next steps. I know what I'm doing. And I also like working with you because you make it comfortable, even though I'm uncomfortable. Like, I'm comfortable working with you. Do you know what
I
I mean? So
received that. Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So yes, all the successes will be coming because she'll be guiding me with that one for sure. I appreciate it very much.
I have to set up a Facebook dating profile. God. Anyway, I'm excited.
I thought you had one, so you'll know.
No, I deleted all of it. I didn't even pause it. I deleted it. Get rid of everything. Start fresh.
Start fresh. That's good. I'm really happy for you. And I'm
Thanks.
really happy for the clarity that you have on your digital programs. There's a lot of need for that right now.
I appreciate that.
A lot of great ideas that need to come to life. And again, with everything that's happening, let's support people who want to do things on their own. Yeah.
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 I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
All
that
right.
feels better.
All right. I love it. It's a great episode. You see us working through our stuff. This is what it's like navigating through mindfulness. And you've heard both of our next steps. She's going to digitize her stuff and put herself on Facebook. I'm going to meet with her to talk about developing a new lifestyle brand tomorrow. And I'm actually going to start doing lives for all of the brands that I'm involved with. So a lot of uncomfortableness, but we're navigating our mindfulness. My name is Liza Magcale, and this is my gorgeous and happy, high vibrating co-host in all of her deliciousness, Cheryl Sutherland.
Hi. Get yourself a business bestie. Otherwise, how you gonna grow your business, man? Shit. Anyway, signing off. I'll see you, I don't know, on Facebook dating, maybe? I don't know. Have a great day.